Hello and welcome to the Cutie Art Crusaders Spoilercast for My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, Season 5, Episode 19, the one where Pinkie knows.
Flawless.
Is it Pinkie knows or Pinkie Pie knows? Almost flawless.
I think it's Pinkie Pie.
Okay. Well, it's the one where the horse knows.
It was close to par.
Yeah. So my name is Rainbow Plasma, and today I'm joined by Bernd
Hello.
and Joel, aka Atmospark.
Hi.
And we're going to be talking about the episode. It was an interesting episode. To give you a little summary, right off the bat, they say, like, hey, Cadence and Shining Armor are having a baby, and they're coming to Ponyville in order to announce that. Burn, you scared me. And Pinkie Pie figures this out because they're making a special cake for the occasion. The one complication, she can't actually tell anybody, and she wants to tell everybody because it's a huge secret, especially Twilight, because Twilight has no idea. So the entire episode is her struggling with this fact, attempting not to tell anyone about this new news. And yeah, hilarity ensues. And it was a good episode overall. So I guess I don't really know where to start with this episode, other than to say that I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I did too, because it's Pinkie.
Yeah, I figured you would really. Let's start with you, Joel, because when I first watched the episode, I was like, this is going to be like Joel's like new favorite episode of all time. What did you think of it? Like, you're a big Pinkie Pie fan. Like, what did you think of it?
I mean, it's pretty good. It was the first, like, Pinkie episode of this half of Season 5.
Right.
I think, yeah, because it's been all rarity.
Well, it's been mostly rarity episodes. or Cutie, or CMC. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I liked it. You know, a couple of funny Pinkie moments. Yeah.
I mean, I might be looking at it from the perspective of this was one of my favorite Pinkie Pie episodes. I had a lot of fun with this one. Pinkie Pie for me is either hit or miss depending on how her character is portrayed in the show. And this was definitely like a huge hit for me. So this might be my favorite Pinkie Pie episode in general. It was, but there's been a lot of good ones. But yeah, it was fun overall. I noticed some people talking a little bit online about how it didn't really have substance in terms of, like, it didn't have a lesson that they learned, and there wasn't really something to learn from this episode. It was just kind of, some people described it as fluff. I mean, to remind people that we're watching a show about cartoon horses.
I don't think so. I mean, there's a message in there. It's don't give away other people's secrets.
Yeah, I suppose, but
You can call it like a simple message like that, but it also had a different, like, I guess, flavor or style than like some of the other episodes where it's like, here's something that happens and the struggle with it, and then I learn a lesson. Like, yeah, Pinkie's lesson was like, you know, waiting and not spilling the secret or whatever is like worth the wait because, you know, other people, like, you care about other people and like their experience is just as important as yours, blah, blah, blah. But like, I feel like the style of this episode was, it was just like, it was following Pinkie Pie and then it was externalizing her like inner conflict, right? And I thought it did a really good job at that. So like, Pinkie Pie had a struggle which is like very unique to her, and I guess Mayor apparently, where it's like when you have a secret, you're just like, man, I gotta tell it, which is like some people can be like, oh, you know, like I don't tell secrets, and then other people are like, oh my gosh, gossip. And so I thought it did a really, really good job of externalizing Pinkie Pie's like inability to keep like really good secrets, and like that was kind of the spirit of the episode, right? Where it was following around Pinkie Pie's struggle rather than like, dear Princess Celestia, like I learned
a valuable lesson.
I suck at secrets or whatever the lesson is, you know?
Yeah. I thought the episode was very lighthearted, and it was kind of set up to be a goofy episode where it was fun to watch her struggle with this, right? Like, she's a very animated character. She's got great expressions. She's got great energy. And so, you know, she's the character it's really, really fun to play around with her going a little bit cuckoo with these kind of secrets.
Yeah.
I know some of the things that I really enjoyed was when they referenced how crazy she was normally. At some point, Rainbow Dash says, you know, I know the bar is set pretty high,
yeah.
but does Pinkie Pie seem to be acting weird
right after
normal?
she busts through the castle wall.
Yeah. And so that was, little moments like that were really good. Another one that I'm reminded of on that topic is when Pinkie Pie when they're sitting around the table and Pinkie Pie predicts what Twilight's going to say because she knows that Cadance and Shining Armor are coming into town.
Yeah.
And at some point she makes some sort of excuse. They're like, how did you know that? And she went, Pinky sense?
Right.
It's like they're playing up the fact that she's normally crazy and she's using that as an excuse to like excuse her weird behavior. And I found that it's like a very self-aware type of humor, and I really like that.
Yeah. I like when they're in the castle, she said, "Gotta bounce," and then she bounced off the walls and then out the window.
Literally bounced.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was
That's
like 3 or 4 times where she like did that crazy like ping pong ball Pinky effect, like especially at the end. I feel like was the most dramatic, where it's just finally like, "Oh my god, baby!" Like,
yeah. Or when she completely, literally fell apart into like the little pieces of like flash animation.
Yeah,
I
that was
would have
funny.
seen. He even took on like her what is it, like her mouth frame and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And then in the next scene, Cadance walks over and Pinky's adjusting her hair.
Yeah,
as
she's
she
putting her hair
put
back
it
together.
back on again.
Reattaching herself.
Yeah, it's that was really
That was good continuity. Like
Yeah, like good continuity for something that
Just
shouldn't have had
silly guy.
continuity. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it when they don't take that too seriously, you know, and they go that extra mile, and then they're like, yeah, it might not make perfect sense, but you're also watching a cartoon, right? Like, we talk a lot of the times about realism and, you know, how these characters remind us of humans, and they're very human, and the stories are relatable, but it's still a cartoon, and I like it when they treat it like it's a cartoon.
But in like Pinkie Pie is one of those characters where she really, really brings in that cartoony like style and fashion, right? So she's the character that represents kind of like the, how would you put it, like the Looney Tunes or like Animaniacs-esque style of like jokes, right? So there's a lot of those like themes and similarities whenever she's like, where it's like a Pinkie Pie gag, you know?
Okay, so I'm scrolling through the episode, as we oft do when we're doing this spoiler cast. Can I say my least favorite thing about the second half of this season? The stupid freaking Back to the Future thing in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah.
And like every single time the show comes back from commercial, this huge thing obstructs like half of the screen, and then they leave this timer in the bottom right-hand corner. Whose decision was this? This is an awful decision. Like, just in general, it's so dumb.
Like, it really rustled my jimmies because there was like a really, really like important or like emotional moment in last week's episode with the Cutie Art Crusaders. It was like, this is a big moment in the series, and like, yeah, I'm invested in this cartoon horse show, but still there's this giant like and like doing it's like doing wheelies and junk. It's like literally doing like flaming wheelies and like spinning in circles, and it's like, why are you burning out in the middle of my emotional moment? What the hell?
Right. And yes, I know that this won't show up in like a lot of the versions that'll come out in like iTunes and some of the other stuff, but like this is like a premiere of a new episode of one of the most popular shows on this channel. Yeah. And it's just like
your impressions matter.
And there's a difference between like, yes, you're on a TV network, you're going to get advertisements, you're going to get the Discovery Family logo in the bottom right. I get it, it's fine. But this big stupid car, like, and then like the bottom right hand corner, it's like 1/8 of the screen is taken up by this ad more. And it's like, what were you thinking?
There was
it's ridiculous.
There was a really funny joke, I think it was maybe on Family Guy or something, but they're making fun of that thing where like it pops up and like there's people and they're kind of like animated or whatever. It was like this really like sad part in the show of like this doctor, and he's like, I'm sorry, but your cancer's terminal, you have 2 weeks to live. And there's just like in this giant animation in the bottom right is this like friendly doctors, and it's like these 2 doctors and like shoving each other, and they're like, like just friends, and they're like
go
playing.
Like back to back and cross their arms.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there was also in the Simpsons one of the Halloween episodes.
No,
played with that.
It's atrocious. It's atrocious. I hate it. Anyways, I didn't mean to get away from the episode too much, but as I was scrolling through, it made me mad again. Because I saw like this car coming across, and it's like, no, stop.
Totally.
What about the Wacky Wall inflatable tube pony?
Wacky waving inflatable flailing arm tube pony.
That was good for a first try.
Thank you. I actually practiced.
I see.
Yeah.
I liked it when she imitated it.
It's funny.
That was really cute.
I'm actually quite proud of that. In high school, we used to go like wacky waving inflatable flailing arm tube man like all the time because Family Guy, and we're in high school.
Well, Bern, that's a life skill that not everybody gets to learn.
Yeah.
And yet you can't say normal words.
It's true. It's fine. I'll practice normal ones later. Dang it. Can't even say words.
Yeah. I thought I was a little bit interested to see how she interacted with the rest of the main six in this episode, because it seemed like at the beginning there was going to be something with her and Rarity, but they kind of moved away from it a little bit towards.
She was
more
like a
her and the
recurring.
main six.
Yeah, she was a recurring theme though, like
Yeah.
spooky, internalized, like only in my imagination, ghost Rarity. Like that was really funny. That made me smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she played a lot to the fourth wall this episode, especially at the
Of
end,
course.
where she would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, where
Where
she
she
was like,
waving
"That
her
was
head.
easy. That was a piece of cake, wasn't it?" And she's no. Also, what's with
okay.
Fluttershy's grandfather? Do you guys see that?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Old man
It's-
Fluttershy.
Yeah, old man Fluttershy buttface.
Yeah,
I like how his cutie mark of special talent is like disguise glasses.
yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Shining Armor and Cadence.
They're gonna have a Princess Skylar.
Yeah, well, let's just before we get into that thing, let's talk a little bit about this thing, which was Shining Armor freaking out over his
Ant farm and his room.
his just in general his freaking out over his
Oh, his room and yeah,
like memory room. I love this gif though.
just slamming on the ant cage.
Yeah, he's
You're not
just,
supposed
like,
to tap
slamming
on the
ant
cage.
But yeah, like they played an interesting part. It's cool to see them kind of bring those characters back in kind of semi-mundane ways, you know, not just like it's the season finale and we need to go to the
Right.
crystal.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just kind of like, yeah, they're also characters and their family, and yeah, we might have ignored them in season 1, but shh.
Yeah, but they also like Cadence and Shining Armor also play as like how do I put it? They're always like really big plot devices, right? So it's
Right.
all like, oh my god, Twilight has a sister, and there's
Yeah, yeah.
another alicorn. And this one, it's like, oh my god, characters are having babies.
Yeah.
Like even what is it when pound cake and carrot top, right?
Carrot
Cake and pound.
and
Pound cake and carrot cake.
no, pound cake is the baby,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
and carrot cake is the baby.
so pound cake
right?
and carrot cake.
Yeah.
And pound and cake
Something like
doesn't
that.
matter.
Pound cake,
or
cake and pound.
Pound and carrots, the babies. Even then, it was just like, oh, there's some babies, and then it was just like an episode about it. It wasn't like a big deal that it's like, oh my god, like characters having a baby. I feel like
Right.
it's kind of like a big thing to have like two characters. Oh yeah, they're also having kids.
Well, and I mean, like, let's be honest, we didn't really care about the Cake family at all, so, like, it's not like you're gaining a brother. Like, there was this semblance of, like, oh, little siblings with Pinky, but, like, not really, whereas this one's, like, we've known this character for 5+ years now, and now she's gonna be an aunt. Like, you're adding to her family. That's a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
It was like when it's a big deal that you found out that she has a brother in the first place. That's a big
Yeah.
deal because
It's
these
like
characters
she has
are,
a
like, direct
brother. It's like now
relations.
she's gonna have a niece. Ooh.
Yeah.
Or nephew. Ooh.
Or nephew, yeah.
Don't know.
Let's
Shrug.
be honest, it'll be niece.
Probably.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting concept.
What if she has twins?
It's
Then we'll have
it's
two new
What
toys.
if they both look nothing like Shining Armor and Cadence, like with the other
Awkward.
twins? It's an interesting concept. I guess that this is this season's. Every season has had something that you can tell is kind of like. I don't know how to describe it other than shoehorned in. Like there's something in every single season that's like,
Well, in every,
there's an outside influence here,
yeah.
right?
Well, maybe. I mean, like every episode or every season kind of has to have its own like big pushing forward plot device, and whether that has like an overpowering hand of Hesper or not, I guess is shrug. We'd have to like find out, but like I think it's really cute. You know, like
Yeah,
I don't
no,
think it's a
I think
negative thing.
I think it's cute. It was just interesting because this one's come quite late into the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's not like this has been like the big overarching thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
This is just kind of like a thing that's thrown in like 7
Supplies,
episodes,
babies.
more than halfway through the season. And so I'd be interested. I don't think that they could put this together in such a way where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have like this baby be around in this season, right? Like it seems like that's a big deal to be like, we're having a kid to like actually having the kid, right?
Yeah.
So like, it'd seem like that would be more like a season 6 thing, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It just, to me, it would seem very rushed continuity wise to have that baby be present in any part of the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas when you separate seasons, there's definitely like a feeling that time has shifted, or time has moved, right?
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of babies, going back to Carrot and Pound, whatever their actual names are.
I think that's it.
What is it? In the beginning, I actually really liked them. I remember like, oh, they were babies. They're kind of creepy looking back in the day, but I guess I got over that. And watching them in this episode in the beginning, they were really funny. Like, I think it was Carrot or Pound, whichever one, was sitting on Mrs. Cake's back.
Yeah.
And like Cake was like, or Miss Cake was like, it's a secret, like don't tell anyone. Shh, and she like fades back like in through the double doors, and the baby starts mimicking her. So the baby's mimicking her movements and like shh as they like both fade back. Like that was really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I will agree with you that they have grown on me a little bit. I don't remember. Did they like? There's just something where it's like the eyes still kind of get me. You know what it might be? They're not wearing diapers anymore.
No.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean,
So
they've grown.
that might be something, right? So like, there's a little part of me that's like, I look at that and I'm like, oh, okay, that's it. Like, that's the only thing that I can notice that's different about the previous when I've seen them previously to now. But you're right, they do look less
Off-putting.
yeah, exactly. So maybe it's because they've grown a little bit, so size-wise they're a little bit less wonky. Maybe it's because they're not acting as babies, right?
Yeah.
They're just kind of like little kids.
I can't
more
wait till
so.
the show like grows them up into fillies.
Oh my
That'll
god,
be
it's gonna be
sweet.
so good. I mean,
It'd
we've been
be,
spoiled with we was spoiled with that one Tumblr where
Oh,
they
yeah,
age them up, right?
Yeah.
I haven't
But
done
yeah,
that.
I'm totally looking forward to that as well.
I might
What
do
is
a
that?
Hakuna Matata type moment where they're walking across a river.
You're talking about Egophiliacs one, right? Like
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Slice
of life, right?
of life.
Yeah, slice of life. Get it? Slice of cake, slice of life.
But you can't do it anymore because Slice of Life was an episode title, wasn't it?
That's fine.
Yes.
Wasn't Slice of Life episode 100?
Yes.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Get wrecked, Egophiliac.
Oh. It's funny.
But yeah, overall, I thought the episode was really good. I really, really enjoyed this one, and I thought it was really, really awesome. I heard some feedback online where people really didn't like it, and yeah, I don't know what they're talking about.
They're wrong.
I thought it was great.
I think there's always like a vocal minority that dislikes certain episodes. Like I think we've all had episodes we dislike.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But I could like this episode. I will agree this episode was very different, but I enjoyed it that they didn't have to spell out, you know, like the what is it, the
Moral?
lesson, yeah, the
Right,
lesson or whatever that they learned. It was just kind of like Pinkie Pie and like her struggle, and it was like even for a young kid it would be very easy to understand, like, oh my gosh, you know,
Right,
Pinkie Pie
yeah.
very clearly wants to share this secret, but she doesn't, and is rewarded in the end because Twilight's happy. And so like you don't really need someone to write a letter to spell out to you like the lesson. But point being, it was very different, but I enjoyed it. So
Also, for
my
some reason,
last-
this episode felt a lot longer than most other ones.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, I
I was
felt that way
literally about
too.
to say, did anybody else feel like that episode was so much longer than
Yeah.
a lot of the other ones?
And it could
I
have
think
been
it's
the
because they took
suspense.
things at a slower pace.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like a slower pace, and also just like there was a lot of suspense with some things, so maybe it just like kind of felt that way. But like, you remember how it was like kind of it almost felt like really quickly paced, but then it reached the point where they started the scavenger hunt, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's still episode left. Like,
Yeah,
wow.
exactly.
And then there was the entire scavenger hunt scene that didn't feel rushed at all, except for because Pinkie Pie wanted it to rush, but they wouldn't. You know?
Yeah, because about 14 minutes in, that's when Cadence in Shining Armor shows up, and you're like, okay, the episode's wrapping up now. And it's like, then you get like another 8 minutes. And it's like, what? So yeah, I definitely I remember thinking a couple of times, this episode's still going on. Not in a bad way at all. In a good way. I was like, wow, like this episode seems really long. Was this like an extra long one or something?
Yeah. You know
but
what's
no,
funny?
it was normal.
You were talking about a few spoiler casts ago how we were spoiled that characters keep coming back. And like, so here we are, like Hidden Shining are coming back, but I feel like we're also spoiled in that these episodes are actually very long on the cartoon average. Like when you look at Adventure Time, or right now when I'm watching Steven Universe, they're like 10, 12-minute episodes.
Right, they split them up in half, so there's 2 episodes per time slot, right?
I think so, yeah, but
That's usually what they do. That's what they used to do on like SpongeBob and like Fairly Odd Parents.
The thing
They would
is,
split them up in half.
when Adventure Time comes out with a new episode, you get 2 episodes, I think, maybe back to back. Or is it just 1?
Yeah.
But like when Steven Universe is coming out every like week to week, it's just like, here's your
it's
12
just
minutes. See you
Oh,
next
that's
week,
too
and it's like,
bad. That's rough, yeah. Usually the way it works is that they will release 2 episodes at once. It's kind of like a package.
yeah. I think it's what Adventure Time does.
And that's like a very common cartoon thing. But yeah, you're right, because when there's only 10 minutes, like that gives you even less time to set up stories and things
Steven
like that.
Universe, why do you upset me?
Yeah. Well, anyways, we're running over time, so we should wrap this up. Final thoughts about the episode? I enjoyed it. What about you guys?
I'm always pro Pinky.
Yeah,
Yep,
good stuff.
cool.
Good Pinkie Pie
Where did it
episode.
rank on the level of Pinkie Pie episodes for you?
It was pretty up there.
Up there? It was below Smile, Smile, Smile for me, but it was, yeah, I don't know. I was like, what Smile, 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 was that, what episode was that? That was, the Cranky Doodle episode, or?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I liked that one more just because it had the song in it, so it was very memorable.
Right.
But I feel like I liked this episode more than the Cranky Doodle Bajunk. If I can use
the
that
episode
term.
concept of it, yeah. Yeah, I think it was quite high up.
There wasn't
in
enough
terms of
time
Pinkie
for
Pie
a song,
episodes.
you know? So I guess I like the episode better because it didn't like take up a bunch of time with the song.
Yeah,
but
fair enough.
I like her song moments more than I like this episode. I don't know. It's good stuff.
I like her song moments
yeah.
more than most other songs.
For like
Okay.
a solid Pinkie Pie episode, it was good. It was the better one.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, that is everything for this week, guys. Thank you guys for listening. Tell us what you thought in the comments. And join us again next week for our Spoilercast for Season 5, Episode 20. We're starting to get up near the end.
No.
And without further
The
ado...
cutie mark says, and I get the cutie marks?
Well,
Without further ado, my name is Rainbow Plasma.
Mine is Burn.
I'm at my spark.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Peace.